All right, welcome. It's time for us to talk sports on Global Television. We've got all the big stories making the rounds in the exciting world of sport today, where we're going to be having an abridged version of 30 minutes non-stop action as we look at all the stories making the rounds in the Olympics and on the home front. We'll begin with the ouster of the Super Falcons from the 2024 Olympic Games, where the coach, talking about Randy Wardrum, has blamed the ouster of the Super Falcons from the women's event of the Olympics on poor preparations. The Nigeria were knocked out after losing 1-0 to Brazil, 1-0 to Spain, and also losing 3-1 against the Asian giants Japan in their last Group C encounter. And now Coach Randy Wardrum has said poor preparations was key to the ouster of the Super Falcons. I'm not alone to give you all the big stories. I've got Samuel Odi playing from the left wing of the attack. Randy Wardrum has put the blame on the fact that the Super Falcons had poor preparations. Do you agree with him? Because the issue we saw was the inability of the Falcons to score goals, and scoring goals has nothing to do with preparations. Mm-hmm. You either have the skill and you've got deadly strikers, or you don't.
I don't think it's on poor preparation, because one, they had preparation, they had opportunities to prepare, and then they did prepare, and they played a friendly match prior to the Olympics, which we all saw the result where they lost, and then it was said by him that the result at that point did not matter, that it was the performance that mattered. And then to him at that point, quoting him now, he said the Super Falcons played very well. So at this point now, coming out to tell us it was poor preparation, I think it was him not having the kill spirit for the Super Falcons strikers to be able to, get the job done at that end, because he's a defensive-minded coach. We all know that. So defensively, he did well for the first two matches against Spain and Brazil. So now, against Japan, now we don't know what really happened with the defense line anymore, because probably they all came out to score, and they probably managed to get one goal and then left the back wide open, and then they conceded 3 goals. So at this point now, I don't think it's on preparation. I think it's on the team to do more work that they need to do, and then
because they had the 10-day spell in Sevilla, in Spain, where they had preparations. We also had the poor arrival of players to come, and also injury worries in between.
If he talked about injury worries, and I think we can give that to him, but that means we can't totally give that to him, because we also have players who can fit in that role. Then it's just for him to figure them out and then pick those players. But at this point now, we have injury worries. You had the whole 10 days in Sevilla, and then also they went to the US as well. They were literally on tour preparing. So I wouldn't agree with him totally, but the fact that we had injury worries, but we also had other players now who can also fit in there. That's why it's good for coaches to have eyes for good players that can replace players that are playing the key role in their team if they are injured, then they get someone else to replace them. So I think that's the angle now that the coach is supposed to be coming up from, and then be laying his complaints, not saying poor preparation. He could just hammer more on the injuries, and then we can give that to him, because that was what happened during Jose Pizarro's time. The finals were like, yes, the players were tired, fatigue and injury, so they just struggled to play the final. So we cut him a slack from that angle, but him saying they were not well prepared, it's totally not it.
All right, let's still talking the Olympics. Let's talk about the Tigers from the Super Falcons. We are talking about the female basketball team now. The Tigers who did win their first matchup against Australia, and we thought, yes, the Tigers had arrived. But very sad commentary yesterday where the just senior women's team, the Tigers suffered their first defeat at the Paris 2024 Olympics, slumping to a 75-54 loss to the French team in the second Group C game in Paris on Thursday. A very sad commentary. It wasn't nearly as pretty as the 74-54 blowout of Australia, but Eze Nwakalu was the best performer of the day. Do you think the Tigers probably underrated the French team after their outstanding feat against the Australian team? You know,
they weren't just as vicious as they were against the Australian team, because, you know, I was expecting them to continue with that firepower, but it kind of dropped in the second, third quarter. And then if you win the first quarter and then struggle in the second, and then you can't you don't get to recover back in the third and fourth quarter, then the job is done. So I felt they were not as intense, they were not as physical, and they didn't just get the job done. They didn't go the way they started for the first game they played against the Australians. So that's what you get when you don't take the game serious.
Do you think the coach Wakama did say that the team was not at their best? They didn't play their game.
Yes.
Do you think it was down to the fact that they were playing the host nation? France had home support. They were used to the court already, because there's this thing about playing in your own familiar court. There's that advantage.
That's true. But obviously, it's crystal clear that the advantage is it's more for the France side, because one, they are home, and then they are hosting, and then they have their fans and families, all the support that they need. But were they at their best? The Tigers now, no, they were not at their best. I totally agree with Wakama, who is the head coach of the Tigers. They were totally not at their best, because we saw the level at which they performed against Australia. If they had performed at that level, the results obviously would have been different.
All right, so what will be your expectations in the remaining games? What do you think the Tigers would need to do in order to be able to come back strong as they meet Canada on Saturday?
The Canada is under different strong side, so they need to come out with more intensity that they came out with against Australia, because if they come out being flat-footed and not being at their best, just like they did with France, then the story is not going to be palatable for them.
All right, we'll be wishing the Tigers the very best of luck as they lock horns with the Canadian team after beating Australia and losing to France. Now they have to beat Canada, beg your pardon, for them to move on to the knockout stages, which is a very, very, very strong opponent at that. All right, let's still giving you all the big stories making the rounds. Let's move on to still with the Olympics, but this time we're talking athletics, as a Team Nigeria Athletics team gets ready to begin moving on, as a Team Nigeria will be involved in 6 events on Friday, that's today, as the athletics event of the Paris 2024 Olympics hits the ground running. And I just hope of clinching medals at the games has been heavily linked with the track and field event, with Nigeria is always strong. With all eyes will be on high jumper Temitope Adesina, the women's discus trio of Ashley and Onumba and Choma Oyekwere. We also have Obiageli Amechi for the shot put. Troa Chukwu Ebuka Ene Kwechi will also be in display. The athletics event is where our hopes very strongly, and we've always been very good when it comes to athletics. How much pressure is Team Nigeria in the athletics on right now as it begins today?
As it begins today, the run for the medals, this is what the player and the athletes have been, waiting on for a very long time now. And I feel like I feel they're in the right place, in the right sense of mind to be able to do that. So I don't think they should reason more about what happened with the Super Falcons and then the loss that the Tigers faced. Now I think they should just focus more on getting the medals, continue their winning streaks from Africa, qualifying for the Olympics, and again individual teams that they represent for the wins that they've had. So I would expect them to have that mentality and going with that momentum so that they would be able to compete with these other athletes from different parts of the world to be able to clinch one of those medals.
All right, well said there. Let's let you know that the indoor and outdoor national record holder and three-time national champion in the person of Adesina, who is making her debut appearance at the games, will be out by 9:15 a.m. For a chance to make the final of the women's high jump, which is already ongoing right now, with her personal best of 1.97 meters. It is hoped that she will be able to qualify. So that's a team wishing Team Nigeria the very best as athletics begins already at the ongoing Paris 2024 Olympic Games. All right, let's go into some football news on the home front from the athletics. Let's return home and talk about what's playing out in the coaching crew, where Abdallah and others are jostling for the job or the top job of being Kano Pillars head coach. So that's the big story there. We're talking Kano Pillars this morning, as former Eyimba and Super Eagles assistant coach Usman Abdallah is among the front runners to take over the vacant role of Kano Pillars head coach as the former Nigerian champions intensify their preparations for the 2024-2025 season scheduled to kickstart August 31st. Just to let you know that Abdallah, who has worked as assistant coach for Kano Pillars before, was among those interviewed on Wednesday, as Pillars hope to replace Paul Ofor, who has left his role as the head coach of Kano Pillars. Meanwhile, Kano Pillars hired a former Sporting Lagos coach Ofor some weeks ago, but both parties parted ways mutually on Tuesday after a change of club's leadership. That's very interesting. The chairman of the club, in the person of Ali Omar, said Ofor's contract was terminated based on mutual consent, noting that the coach was hired by the former management and was dissolved by the Kano State government a few days later. This is pure administrative decision, and not that Paul Ofor couldn't deliver the goods. And knowing that Kano Pillars is from a northern side of the country, do you think this is just about ethnicity playing out here?
From the reports we're getting, that's just what is showing, and then he helps me wonder what's one Nigeria again. So for the admin department to be able to call off this now, I think not that he's not good for the job, it's just obviously because they want someone who
from the northern region.
So I don't think football and sports generally works that way, because if it's just the way it works, that means you should have a northern league and then not call it Nigerian Professional Football League. It should be maybe Northern League, Northern Professional Football League, Eastern Professional Football League. So this is trying to cause a divide in a way, because the team Kano Pillars is actually dominated by mostly northern players, and then we are not seeing a whole lot of people from the west and from the east playing that team. So if it's coming down to the administrative department now of Kano Pillars, I feel it should, something different needs to be done, and then give room for other people to come participate, because football and sports generally not just unites Nigerians, but it unites the world together. So it's not just welcoming from the administrative department of Kano Pillars.
All right, a very sad commentary there, but we'll be going on a very quick break. But just to let you know that Kano Pillars had won 3 straight MPFL titles in 2012 to 2014 and returned to the top flight recently after finishing 11th on the table. Ahead of the 2024-2025 season, they are currently in Enugu, where they are taking part in the Coal City pre-season tournament. All right, we'll go for a quick break. When we return from the break, we'll have some transfer talking point to do concerning Victor Osimhen as Tottenham is battling Chelsea for Nigeria's top striker. After this break, stay with us.
Frankly speaking, it is now time for Nigeria to see that global TV has come and has come to stay.
Just 1 year. This is a plus for global television.
My take on global TV presence on DSTV, first of all, I must say is a great feat. And in this new age, it takes technology to take over. I believe that global TV coming into the arena will change the context of international broadcasting in Nigeria.
But I believe that global TV has come not just to give us anything but the truth and the valued information that we need at hand.
I think global TV presence will make a very great difference among all other channels. Their presence now on DSTV stations is going to make a very lot of difference among others.
Really believe with the pedigree and the reputation Global TV has gathered for themselves for the last 1 year of their being in existence and being in operation, they are really going to change, have a lot of impact on the digital perspective of TV broadcasting.
New height with this new feat, you are actually going to make us proud, especially within the content that you are delivering for the Nigerian people.
All right, welcome back from the break. We're still talking sport, a brief version for Friday. We'll be giving just 30 minutes of action today. Let's hit the transfer window button where Victor Osimhen is still in the middle of transfer saga. Now it's Tottenham battling Chelsea for the signature of Victor Osimhen as they look to prize him away from Napoli, the Italian giant. The Osimhen's agent has said that his player or client would not move unless the right price is paid. And meanwhile, Napoli on their own part is saying they want 130 million euros for Osimhen. At a point, they dropped it to 100 million euros. But Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, still yet to budge as regards the price. And Chelsea also did say they want it a little bit below 100 million euros before they can seek for his signature. Let's look at Tottenham getting into the mix. Do you think it's getting to a time when Victor Osimhen's saga needs to be ended, or do you think this is going to further push Antonio Conte with no other choice but to keep Victor Osimhen for the new season?
I think it's going to push him to keep Victor Osimhen for the new season. But the thing, one angle again we are looking at is the fact that Victor Osimhen himself is ready to leave. So I don't know how effective he's going to be for the team, though he's a very good player. Why I'm saying I don't know how effective he's going to be for the team is because of the fact that mentally he's ready to go. So if he's remaining there now, I don't think he will be happy to be in Napoli. So that's on another note. Then on another different lighter note, now the agent himself is insisting that a certain fee must be paid. So now I'm wondering, do you want to collect your complete commission if this happens and not care if your player, your agent, your client now is happy? Looking at Chelsea and Tottenham, this is the first time basically majorly that we've had Tottenham and Chelsea go head to head for a player. That shows the quality of Victor Osimhen, what he brings to the team. So Tottenham, this past season, they actually struggled, and then now they are in the rebuilding system. Like something that Paul Walker said about his teammate Son, that he has not seen someone that is as famous as Son in North Korea. So Son is very, very loved at home. So if he comes into a team like that have friendship and family, I think the love in the team is going to help him. But does he have the quality needed from the midfield to give him the kind of balls that he needs to be able to, be threats to defenders in the EPL? That I'm not totally sure of. But looking at Chelsea now are looking, we heard stories just this week that Gallagher is about to be in the market. Atlético Madrid is trying to poach him to Spain. So we are looking to see how that will play out. And for me as a Chelsea fan, I don't want that to happen. So let's see how it's going to play out. Looking at the price tag now, Chelsea are making, demands or offering cash plus player to Napoli, and then nothing has been said in that light. Do Tottenham have the money, the £100 million plus to pay for Victor Osimhen? I know they have the money, but are they willing or are they going to make the payments? I'm not certain. I don't know that, but let's just see what happens as the story unfolds. But I will still stand on where I was standing and say I would be so happy if Victor Osimhen comes to Chelsea.
All right, still talking Chelsea matters. Just to give you an update, that Conor Gallagher has turned down the approach of Atletico Madrid. A 3-year contract was put on the table for Conor Gallagher, and he has turned down the chance to star for the Spanish giant. Do you think that's a huge statement to say, I'm ready to fight for my place in the Chelsea team, and I think I belong with the top stars in the EPL?
Yes, obviously, because he knows the quality he has and he knows what he brings to the table. And this is a time for you to actually show that more, because, Chelsea is rebuilding. So him remaining on staying put in Chelsea shows that, okay, yes, I have a point that I need to make. Maybe he has not achieved what he was set to achieve while coming to Chelsea. So he feels leaving now, it's just going to be like him running away from the task at hand. So I feel him staying put shows that, okay, he has something more that he needs to give back to Chelsea. So we're hoping to see that happen very well. And then he's actually going to need help. He's going to need strikers, very good striker that would help him out in trying to achieve that.
That's Gallagher on your screen. Do you think the fact that Enzo Maresca does not necessarily want Gallagher or have him in his plans, he is likely to frustrate Gallagher in that team? But being an England international, would Enzo Maresca be forced to give Gallagher a chance in the team?
I think he's going to be forced to give him a chance in the team, because one, there's something he's almost similar with Erik ten Hag, talking about Enzo Maresca now, who tend to bring players from where he was coming from into the place where he is now, because it feels like he's more comfortable with them, they understand him more, and whether not minding the quality now of what they bring to the table, the fact that they are all going to be in peace, it's what is the angle he's looking at, so they can just keep playing. And then, Chelsea have suffered so much loss just this preseason. I'm not even certain. I think they've just won one game out of 5 that has been played. So all of these things now is not what we are expecting to get into the EPL season with, because if we get into the EPL season like this, obviously Chelsea would definitely get into relegation zone. So this is not something that Chelsea wants, and I trust Chelsea management. They are not in the space to be giving room for you to be doing try and error. They'll just fire the coach and get someone as well. At this point, I feel he's going to definitely play Gallagher in the midfield.
All right, let's take you to the blue side of Manchester, talking about Manchester City before we go to Old Trafford. But let's begin from the blue side of Manchester, where Manchester City has been fined by the Premier League board for breaching 21 rules of the Premier League. And that's one of the big talking points that has cost the fine of Manchester City. Let's look at Man City. There's been threats all along by the Premier League to sanction Man City, first of all, for the financial fair play rules which they had broken, but never really find Man City. But now the EPL is saying they're going to fine them for breaching 21 rules of the Premier League. Do you think finally we're going to see Man City being punished?
Yes, I think they're about to be punished because I also had this Arab money that they have. They tend to spend it anyhow they want and not minding the rules. So last season, before the season ran out, they almost, punished Manchester City by cutting away a few points from them. But somehow, I don't know how Manchester City had to escape that, and then they were still able to go on through and then win the EPL. So now this time around that it's coming out with 21 count charges or rules being broken, I feel the EPL have been able to do a whole lot of investigations and see that these guys have actually faltered not once but maybe multiple times in those areas. So it boils down to what the EPL decides to do. Obviously, if they are found guilty, they will be sanctioned, either paying fine or maybe taking away points from them.
All right, let's move to the red side of Manchester, talking about Manchester United, where there a new signing. His name, Leny Yoro, has been injured during pre-season, and there's a talk of him being out for 3 to 6 months due to the injury he copped during the friendlies during the pre-season. Very sad commentary, as also they've got Rasmus Højlund also injured, and so it's like a deja vu for Erik ten Hag.
Already
key players already getting injured again. We've got Yoro, who is coming from Lille and just played 2 pre-season friendlies, and Rasmus Højlund, who got injured better half of the season last. Now, do you think it's down to probably there's the training regime of Ten Hag, or there's something wrong? Why are Man U players always coping injury? And how is it going to affect Man U in the start of the season?
Looking at the start of the season and Man U's current form, I think if the players don't get healthy quick fast enough, I think it's going to play a negative impact on the team, because one, these guys are actually struggling as it stands right now. So looking at the US tour now, Yoro, like getting this injury and now being out for 3 to 6 months is actually going to tell massively, and then there is no how he's going to come back from that kind of injury and then be on 100%, and then we get to see what we saw in Lille and in the Euros just a few weeks ago. Looking at Andy Hodgson, who also suffered who is also suffering the same thing, and then looking at Marcus Rashford, who Van Nistelrooy is still trying to get back to the Rashford that we used to know. All of these angles now are challenging. Looking at Onana, who is also someone that the coaching crew of Manchester United are trying to get back to the way he was. So there's just a whole lot going on in Manchester United, and if it doesn't get sorted out before the EPL kicks in properly, it's actually going to be a problem, because they are facing that same problem from last season in the preseason tour that is happening in the US. So now, if all of those things are not settled right now, I think they're still going to come back to the EPL and then struggle like they did last season.
All right, let's still talk about Ten Hag. Ten Hag is first assistant in the person of Steve McLaren. Has left his position as assistant coach to Ten Hag. We're talking Ten Hag now. And he has gone to become the head coach of Jamaica. How would this impact on Ten Hag? Because we know that Steve McLaren knows Manchester United in and out, and has been the rock solid to Ten Hag. One of the key reasons Ten Hag wasn't sacked, because the Ineos group had to listen to Steve McLaren, who is English. And had the backing. Now it's going to be Van Nistelrooy, Ten Hag, and the rest of the crew.
Yes. So now it's just going to be key, because one, I'm certain I can spell Sir Alex Ferguson in the return of Van Nistelrooy. So I think he is more going to be the player that. I thought he was still playing. He's going to be the coach more, one of the coaching crew more, that I feel Ineos and the board of directors of Manchester United would listen to more, because when he was there as a player, he was able to give them lots of results, and then they had good rapport when he was there as a player. So at this point now, it's going to be key for him, because he needs someone that would, be able to stand in when he's not there, like that has the knowledge of football, that knows Manchester United in and out. So I feel that's the reason why Van Nistelrooy was brought back to, be the assistant coach and as well play the role of the coach that will be coaching, the one who will be coaching the striker. So at this point now, I feel Erik ten Hag also has his job on the line, because if the season doesn't start off well for Manchester United, I have a strong feeling that Sir Jamie Ratcliffe and the Inos will be able to find a replacement for him.
All right, let's give you some bit of action in the basketball world. When we return, we'll be looking at, we'll take you to Spain, where from there we'll be wrapping up the program for today. But first of all, let's have a feel of some basketball action on the local scene.
Oh, sleek, but not Yusuf.
The guy, he don't warm up. He don't warm up. Nice one, set.
I don't know how he goes all the way down to shoot. It's such a weird.
Steve.
I used to see some boys shoot like that in Kaduna. That's
Nakedi boy,
said Nakedi boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nigeria learn from. Because now for Kaduna, I see people shoot like that.
Run back for defense. See. Stay close. Who's taking the middle?
I thought she saw it.
Break.
Set, well done.
DG. Hey, wait, DG with the airball.
You no call her now.
Good ass, Kochi, I don't block him.
Come on now. What's two?
No, allow him. Musti don't play him anymore. Musti don't play him anymore. You talk about side.
Good one, Joe.
That's the way we need.
Josh, good recovery.
There's something way we need. Instead of something that we can do without.
Who can we not do?
To solve them.
That's good. Josh, you were supposed to box out now.
What?
Contest. Hey, Seth.
See that elbows. You come near me if you were boring you. No, it wasn't malicious. He was just protecting the ball.
When there's foul, you can't keep traveling now. They foul them, now they traveling, see? Let's go. Red foul first now before travel. No green. Oh, but give her back. Okay.
Hopefully you go edit the video. Almost change the floor. Yeah. This is going live like this.
Hey. Don't worry, you miss.
Sandra shift.
Sandra, collect now.
I'm on the score. Sorry.
Hey! Sandra.
Mona, go back! Then enjoy me because of basketball.
Yes, again! Sit down,
Nice
recovery. Hey, this one is 7.
It's 47. Wasn't tight?
No, not the tight. Now. It's 7.
I captured that.
No, Josh.
No, that's what continue. Good shot.
Boy, this mosquito don't poop me. Ah, we did 58.
No. Yourself. No. You're traveling, no.
Stop.
What's that? Inside the court. Game of play them now.
Thank you, Pete.
Abu, they have a fast guy now, so step up. Step up.
I saw that.
When I say this set, it's not working. Respond.
Was the pass too heavy? Shooter! Good shot, Seth.
You got 3 or 2?
Good shot.
3. What's now? They will conquer their mind. They do not go for Carl is free now. Huh? Who's running? Corner. Nice one. Duck it!
No.
Come on.
Pipe!
That's easy for mouth.
This court. Watch my game and see you. Move with the hand inside.
Yeah, just. Now who tell you to lose the
Now two they pass, more than attack. I have to pass us.
Block!
This is the first time.
Michele! They will block you, sir.
Let him know, boy, let him know!
Oh, did I let you go now? That was such a roller coaster shot.
You use more to play basketball.
It didn't go in.
As I go up, the other guy but not down on the shoot. But I'm too good at that, I don't mind. Oh my God. Now, wow.
They toss it for 11 points.
11 points. Kemba, why did you take that shot? A lot is going on this night. Oh, shooter! But it stopped me. I played 2, yeah. So who is now going to stop me? No, Kemba just wait.
Nice one, mistake.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So you see how things are going.
Thank you, mistake. Hey! This time you just come out, I did shoot. Shot. Watch the big man.
Yes. Off free. Yes.
Big man now, big man. Let's go. That man. Recover. Nice defense. What's the thing? That's one. Attempt. That's one. I'll give you. Guys, let's attempt it. Nice one.
Set of the good shots. Set of the good shots. Ooh!
Stop! We'll enter from the way we play that.
Sir?
Everything happens for the right?
I know something. I'm not
Yeah, I'm going to go
straight.
Carl, now you did it down on this game. You're the only person that can score.
You didn't call what? Hey, Osas, come on. Lie. Give him! Osas! Bye!
Send it. Lay up, Aaron. Simple lay up, Aaron. Kochi. Nice pass. I don't hear you.
Don't hype me.
Oh my God.
I want you to clap for that. But go for you, don't be bad.
Tough, boy, tough.
Guys, go man, guys.
Defense on the ball now, on the ball.
Hey, now, out.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you follow him now. Calm down.
Good.
Guys,
Go in.
Kick out.
+1.
Thank you, Osas.
Okay.
Osas, let's go.
Time out.
Osas, good one.
Like that. How you go just pass you like that? Go through.
Just have to remember
But why you go leave him like that?
Why like you laugh this last person?
Meze, Kai, Carpenter, you go miss him.
No, you don't know.
Oh, we Westbrook.
You don't. Okay. I did laugh all the time.
You be kind of your fan, be that because it's your laughter. Pass! Amani! Come on, go play this in a silent film, nothing come out. All this.
Amani, if you no get steez,
Boy, be baller. Still 0. Composure 100.
I mean, it's
Hey,
come back.
give him,
Give him. How about guys now? Get him!
You see nothing. Gary too much. We need you inside. Nice one, Osas.
Give Carl here. Carl, easy.
How now? Who's the second ref?
That's the ball. My ball.
White ball.
Carl, I beg, you don't hold the ball too long. Well, you have to pass them. When we now start to do better thing, now go just spoil them. I don't understand. I could just score 3 again.
Kimberly.
Hey!
Nothing.
That's foul. Good defense, boys.
No second ref.
No second ref now. Coach, good game in a foul. We see him. No!
3 seconds now.
Hey, coach up. Carl, now we need this basket. Up. Oh!
Still it.
Careful.
Pursue him. Give him a get out.
Hey,
Man on you. Faster, 8 seconds now, okay? Go down, sir. Now you go to score this ball now.
He's on fire, man.
No way. Now, hey,
All right, that's action there. Basketballers doing what they know how to do best, just like the Tigress yesterday painfully lost 75-54 to the French national team. And we'll be expecting that on Saturday they'll be able to turn things around and beat the Canadian team so that they can qualify for the knockout stages. Already, Coach Wakama has said they did not play like they used to, and hopefully they're going to dot the I's and cross the T's ahead of their matchup against the Canadian national team at the ongoing Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Before now, we were talking about Euro, the Manchester United player who is going to be out for some couple of months after he's just moved to the English Premier League. Do you think also the pace of the game also are one of the things affecting this young star? And from the performance so far, do you think Manchester United has got a rock-solid defender?
I think they have gotten a rock-solid defender, and the way they play in the EPL is totally different from
the French league.
From the French league, from what he's used to. It's more physical in the EPL. So I'm hoping he's young. That's another advantage that he has. So he's very young, more like, you know, some in the MCR who is also young.
They call them young old men.
I'm not young though. So
are you scared to agree, young old man?
So the injury, hopefully, you know, medically it says 3 to 6 months. Hopefully, depending on how his body system
fast.
Is,
Yeah. If he's truly young,
obviously he's going to, you know, get better. But unlike Sammy, who has not sustained any injuries of late, so we can never tell how well he's going to, you know, recover or how soon he's going to recover. But let's just see and hope that he gets to to recover fast enough.
All right, so quickly, let's wrap it up with the story about Vinicius Junior being tipped for the Ballon d'Or award. Vinicius Junior happens to be one of the star men of Real Madrid. He was very instrumental for the getting to the finals of the Champions League and even winning the Champions League.
Yes.
He played a very key role. And we've also seen him in the Brazilian national team, even though the Brazilian national team has not been at their best. But do you think Vinicius Junior deserves the Ballon d'Or?
I think he deserves to be in the conversation, yes, because he has shown us work, and looking at what he's doing for Real Madrid, you know, how far he came off, and then what he's doing, and then even the past Copa America, he performed individually, he performed well, but the team generally did not really, you know, he didn't get all the support he needed from his teammates to be able to maybe get to the finals and probably even win it. So him being tipped off by his coach, meaning yes, he's top of that league to like have, you know, that conversation. Yes. Who else do I think needs to be in that conversation? I think Haaland should also be in that conversation. I think, you know, Harry Kane should also be in that conversation, but I don't think he's going to clinch it. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi will always, Kylian Mbappe, they'll always be in the conversation. But let's just say, for this era now, I think Vinicius Junior should be the one topping the conversation list.
All right, that's how we're going to call it a wrap on today's edition of the program Talk Sports. We want to say thank you for joining us on the program. And as we wish Vinicius Junior, the star player for Real Madrid, all the best as he angers to win the Ballon d'Or award. And we'll be putting out our social media handles. If you think Vinicius Junior deserves to win the Ballon d'Or, let us know. And hopefully from next week, we'll be opening up the lines for you to call in on Talk Sports and share your views as regards all the talking points we'll be having on the program Talk Sports. My name is Anthony Momodu, the King of Sports, saying thank you. Go out there, support the Tigress as they look to beat Canada in their matchup at the basketball event of the ongoing Olympic Games. As we say, welcome back to the Falcons who couldn't fly. Good morning.